Hi again, Chris Cordoba here, founder, California Retirement Advisors and certified financial planner. And I'm here today to briefly introduce how some of these new laws that were signed in at the tail end of 2022 could affect your retirement strategy this year, but also every year thereafter. These are some of the same points that we're discussing now with our clients as we're getting together with them for their annual reviews. But since you've attended one of my retirement planning classes, either live in the past for a fee or potentially on a webinar like this, we wanted to make sure that you were informed about these items also. So here's the quick summary of the issue. The Secure Act 2.0 is a massive new retirement bill that took place as of January 1st, 2023. Now, that doesn't mean that everything becomes effective 2023, but I'll have another resource on which items are effective on which dates at the tail end. Essentially, here's the 5 things that you should know immediately that might be able to help you or somebody you care about. Number 1, the age to start taking required minimum distributions or RMDs from your IRAs increases to age 73. If you turn 72 in 2022 or earlier, you need to continue taking your RMDs as usual. However, if you turn 72 in 2023, you have an extra year before you're required to take distributions. To be clear, nobody needs to start their first RMD in 2023 this year. So you either already taken an RMD or you might need to start taking one next year. By the way, that doesn't mean that if you have extra time that you should postpone and wait until your back is up against the wall before you start looking into this. So even if you're 5 or 10 years away from having to do this, it's really important to explore what proactive decisions you can make ahead of time. Number 2, starting in 2023, the RMD penalties are cut in half. Historically, the largest penalty in the tax code was this missed RMD at a 50% penalty, 5-0. That was huge, right? But realistically, there were very few people who were imposed that penalty. There were always ways you could report, and they never really held you to that. There are cases, of course, but it was also really expensive to go through the process of trying to get that corrected. Now that penalty is being dropped to 25%, and with timely reporting, even down as low as 10%. But I always say, ask yourself the ABCs. What are the advantages to you of anything that somebody's proposing to you? What are the benefits to anybody that's making that deal to you? And then what are the costs involved? In this case, it's the government that's giving you a better deal. Instead of paying a 50% penalty, you're potentially paying a 25 or 10% penalty. That prompts me to think that going forward, they're going to be more eager and more likely to actually impose the penalty that they were sort of letting slide for many, many years. So be careful and make sure that you're taking the appropriate amounts out of each of your retirement accounts as you're supposed to, so you're not hit with this penalty, even though it's lower. Number 3, QLACs are back. QLAC, what is that? QLAC is a Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract. These were things that we were able to utilize in the past, but the rules were a bit convoluted and there were limits that just made it more complex than it might have been worthwhile, at least at a greater scale. But essentially, this could be a way so that if you don't need all of the IRA money coming from your RMDs, you could potentially postpone up to $200,000 worth of your retirement accounts if you're single, and $400,000 of your retirement accounts if you're married, so that you don't have to start taking RMDs up to a later, even later age, maybe age 80, 82, 83, 84, 85, somewhere in that range. So it's something worth exploring if you're not familiar with it, especially if you're taking out more income than you need and therefore paying tax on money you otherwise wouldn't even take if you didn't need to as a requirement. Number 4, beneficiary designations on your IRA accounts are more important than ever. Now there are specific classifications of beneficiaries, and it's important that you know how to strategize these beneficiary choices in order to help reduce your lifetime tax bill with your estate planning. Remember that simple free beneficiary designation form is potentially more important than even the most expensive living trust that you might have put together from the most expensive estate plan attorney in the area, because it trumps everything, that free form. So be sure to update and review that. Number 5, speaking of lowering your lifetime tax bill, there are now even more ways to get more money into Roth type of retirement accounts, meaning that you can get more dollars into never taxed accounts instead of having more money in forever taxed accounts. This may apply more to your kids or maybe to your grandkids if you're already retired, but what better way to be a good steward of your money for your family in order to let them know about it? So keep these things in mind. These are just 5 of the points, but there's so much more. And now is an excellent time to look and discuss these new laws, potentially with your tax advisor as you're meeting to get your taxes prepared, and also potentially with your financial planner or your investment advisors. If you have a question about what I've shared with you today, or you'd like to have a conversation about what's going on, please use the form below and send me a message and I'll reply personally. I'm also going to drop you a link in the summary page so that you can have a PDF of all of the summary items that are going to be important for you to know about, plus a separate page that's going to give you all of the effective dates as far as when they kick in. That should at least serve as a good talking point, regardless if you're doing this on your own or you're working with somebody else. I hope this has been helpful, and thank you for your time. Please continue to plan and invest wisely so you can live an even better life. And remember, there's more to the health of your retirement wealth than merely investment advice. Take good care and make it a great day.